Welcome to SST College of Arts and Commerce. You are watching SST Edupedia. I am Assistant Professor Prashant Kamble, and today we are going to learn a media buying and planning subject, and the topic which we are going to cover today is components of media plan. Okay. So in the media buying and planning, when we talk about the media plan, so this is very important topic in that particular subject, and today we are going to discover that topic only. So let us see what are the components of media plan. Okay, so what is the media plan exactly? If we talk about the media plan, then that's nothing but a very essential thing which we plan for the advertisements. Whenever we are going to advertise any product or any brand for that particular media vehicle, or we are going to telecast the ad. But before telecasting the ad, before we see any particular ad in the newspaper, in the television, on the internet also, there are many things which goes on before that, that we call a planning basically. And for that, for disseminating that particular ad, or releasing that ad on the internet, be it on the television, we have to buy that particular slots also. So that is known as media buying and planning in short, if we talk. But there are some components which we have to take in a consideration when we are buying that particular media slots, or whenever we are planning to buy that particular media slots. So these are nothing but a characteristics of media. When we talk about the components of media plan, then these are nothing but what the characteristics of that particular media vehicles which we have to take in a consideration. Okay, so let us see what are those characteristics, or we can call it what are those components of media plan, or we can also say the criteria which we have to consider when we are developing any kind of a media plan for a product or for a brand also. So very first is the media mix. First we'll read out the list what are those components, and then we'll see it in a detail also. First one is media mix, then second one is target market coverage, third one is geographic coverage, fourth one is scheduling, reach versus frequency, creative aspects and mood, flexibility, and budget consideration. Okay, so these 8 are very important components of any kind of a media plan which we have to consider whenever we are preparing a media plan for the product or for the advertising, let's say. So let us see these components in detail. Let us see these components. What are those components? We'll just see. So very first one is media mix. So what are the media mix? We can just judge from the word media mix also. It is kind of a, we are mixing the media here. Okay, it is kind of a media vehicles in a combination. We are combining the media vehicles, and that is only known as a media mix. So these are nothing but, if we talk about in a technical word, so media mix is nothing but a combination of media vehicles for that particular advertisements or particular to advertise particular brand or product. Okay, the media mix has to reach the target consumer, right? So why we consider media mix is very important, because we have to reach to our future consumer, or the present consumer through that particular media mix, and that is why we select the media mixes very carefully, and we plan for that media mixes also very carefully. Okay, if we talk about if we take an example, then let's take an example of 25 years old person and 55 years old person. Okay, so if we are going to add some kind of a brand or some kind of a product for 25 years old, so of course we will go to the magazines like Femina, or some entertainment, or technologically magazines which are there for the technology. So we'll go for that only. And if we are going to advertise particular brand or particular product for 55 years old or more than that age of person. So of course we'll go for the economic times or financial express. This kind of newspaper will of course will consider, right? Because persons which we are planning the advertisement, so they are more into the financial and economically the settled and kind of thinking of investing something, right? So that is why we have to select the media mixes whenever we are going to add particular product or brand very carefully. Okay, then the second one is target market coverage. Now what is the target market coverage is, audience can also be described as a psychographic terms and demographic terms. These two terms are there, right? In the demographics, what we see their ages, we see their gender, we see their geographic location, let's say, and weight, height, whatever we can count on. Okay, so in the demographic we see that, but in a psychographic, in a second type, we see their mindsets. Mindsets as in let's take a youngsters. So today's youngsters are very tech savvy. They know technology very well, they use technology very well. So that can be their mindset can be the tech savvy. Okay, or the people who listen to music more, so we can call them as a music lovers. So that can be a psychographic for that particular target audiences. So these target audiences first we have to clear, in a demographically also and as a psychographically also. Okay, let us move to another component. The third component is geographic coverage. So geographic coverage is very easy to understand. We have to select a particular geographic area, to which geographic area we are going to cover, that we have to see, and we have to plan our media vehicle like that. If we are going to cover the rural areas, or or we are going to cover the metro cities, or suburban, let's say if we talk about the Mumbai, then there is also the kind of a city which is beyond the suburban, and the people who are living in a suburban. So that we have to take in a consideration, that geographic location we have to take in a consideration when we are planning for the media, right? Then the fourth one is scheduling. Now scheduling is a very important and very very much thing which will predict your reach, or your frequency also sometimes. So in a scheduling, what we have to see is when you are going, your advertisement will publish, and how your advertise will be. So that also we have to see. For example, let's say there are many news channels who are telecasting their prime time at night also, night only, right? Not also, but night only. Then why they are doing that? Because people who are working, they also come home at that time, and whole entire family, they watch news, and and other entertainment shows also. We can talk about entertainment shows also, which are go on air at 9 or 9:30 at a prime time, we call it. So why they are telecasting at that time only? Because at that time many person or many people watch television, and that is why this is called as a prime time of in a television sector, or let's say in a media industry. So that is why we have to plan our scheduling also very carefully when we are dealing with the media plan. Okay, now the fifth one is reach versus frequency. Now what is the reach? Now reach is to how many people you are reaching out, to how many target audiences in a numbers, let's say, you are reaching out, and the frequency is how many times you are reaching out. There very small kind of a differences in a reach and frequency. Reach is to how many people you are reaching, and the frequency is how many times you are reaching to those persons again and again. So that is called the frequency. Now the sixth one is creative aspects and mood. Now this is also very important, because sometimes what happens is people only see ads when they relate to, sometimes we see there are many examples available on the internet, on the television also. They use emotional appeal in their particular advertisement, and we also sometimes get influenced by those advertisements, and we buy product. We can take example of mom's magic biscuit. So so that can be there's emotional appeal has been used in that particular advertisements, right? So that kind of advertisements are based on the mood, mood, and that is what the creative aspect of that particular advertisement, and that we have to plan very carefully. Let's move to another component, that is seventh, flexibility. Now what is the flexibility? The ability of the media to adapt changing specific needs of advertisers is flexibility. Certain media allows such a flexibility with respect to the advertised message and the geographical coverage and ad budget. Now flexibility is more about the advertisers, how your advertiser is flexible when it provides more facilities to their client who are advertising with their platforms or their media vehicles, let's say. So there are many newspapers. Let's take an example of Times of India. So Times of India also have their supplementary newspapers also. So Times of India is one of the major newspaper in India, we all know, right? Now the Times of India has their supplement newspapers also, like Midday, right? Then there's Mumbai Mirror also. So what they provide is, whenever their client come to them to advertise, so they also provide this advertisement to their supplement newspaper also, like the Midday, but it will be at a very low cost, or in a discounted manner, we can say. So these are the flexibility which are provided by this media owner to their client, and that is known as a flexibility. Sometimes advertisers or media planners see that also, which media vehicle is providing the flexibility to advertise their products. So that is also we have to taken in a consideration. And the last one is very important, budget consideration. We have to consider the budget whenever we are going to make a media plan. Of course, that is one of the essential part, and it is kind of an unavoidable thing. Without that we can't do advertisements, right? Because everything is on the expenses only. When there is a expenditure, then only we can plan our advertisement, or plan our media plan. So the choice of media plan will affect your budget also. So that is why whenever we are planning for the media, we have to be very careful to what exactly we have to convey, at what level, to how many person, to how many times. That also we have to take a consideration, and on that basis only our budget is mapped, or we can say our budget is planned on that particular things only. The higher your insertion will be, your frequency will be, the higher your budget, and that is why we have to plan that is very carefully. Sometimes what happens is, there are some new clients comes, but their advertising budget is not that much high. So what we have to do is, we have to make a plan as per their affordability. Most of the times in the industry, what happens is, we can't lose any client. Whichever client come to us, we have to give them a services, right? We can't just lose any kind of clients because of the budget. So what they do is, they try to find some new media vehicles, such as now social media is there. Social media is most of the cheaper one, if in a compare to television and radio and other platforms, newspapers. Okay, so these all are the component of media plan, and I hope you all are understood this. So, and will see you in the next video with some great topic, and thank you so much.